you're preparing for a live stream. What are the 3 things you think about that you really have to plan for?
Sure. And I'm glad you asked me the question. Unfortunately, I'm an overachiever. And so I picked 5 things. So I couldn't stick to the script. Sorry. But because we work with multiple customers and we work backwards from their business objectives, the type of event also determines what you kind of think about around what needs to be delivered and what you're thinking about with an event. So, for example, like Prime Video delivers tens of thousands of events a year at a large scale to make, Thursday Night Football look seamless, right? Peacock delivered that wild card game to like 27.6 million viewers. We have cricket, right? We have NBCU that just delivered the Olympics. So those are big customers, but then you also have news organizations that run like a 24/7 channel or other things. So when I take a step back and I think about all the different things when it comes to live streaming, I think about one, the stream itself, right? Where does it need to be? Where does it need to be distributed to? Because depending on the type of event, a lot of things could be happening to that. 2, the revenue components, right? How is the customer monetizing this? So the ads, the ad elements, for example, for interactive ads. Security, right? Especially in big events. For us at Amazon, security is job 0. So thinking through things like, DDoS attacks, right? And then, other complementary elements that require scaling. So with some of our customers, they have paywalls or they have registration. And so not forgetting about things like reg systems and billing systems and data collection mechanisms and logging. And then I think the last thing I'll say before we move on to somebody else is just redundancy, right? That ability to deliver seamlessly to the consumer and fail over when things fail, because things do fail during live events, and the ability to monitor that at every step of the way.
Okay, excellent. And, I know that some people are going to duplicate themselves, but you can definitely also tell us why the thing that you're mentioning is important to you. But CJ, I know that you're in a slightly different area. So when you talk about prepping and monetization, what are the 3 things that you think about for live?
More of my world would be more tactical. As far as whether to Steph's point of whether it's the Olympics or it's a live scheduled 24/7 news channel, I think you have to look at it a little differently, but it's still the core elements of orchestration. If it's a fast channel, it's serving live, how is everything firing with the SSAI vendor, whether it's Media Tailor or it's some Terra or Whirl or whomever whomever is out there. The cue points in the HLS, that's an important element that you take for granted, I think, sometimes when it doesn't fire correctly in VOD or it doesn't fire correctly in, the last channel in the EPG, no one's really paying attention. But when all eyes are on that event, orchestration with your cohorts in content to do a test stream. We used to do a dress rehearsal at NBC. I'm sure they still do. I won't. Steph knows better than I at this point, but they used to do a dress rehearsal for every event. I believe they still do that. I think this year the big thing was adding programmatic in. When I heard that recently at the Freewheel Summit, I was floored that was we were there, and that they were doing that. So I think of the 3 things, it's orchestration, not only of a test run, but it's also your counterparts. Who are you going to call when things go down? What is, when you're sitting in the war room, they don't do a war room now anymore. I don't think at NBC, but there was a war room and Freewheel was on the line. Everyone was ready to go all hours of the day, right? For smaller opportunities, like not smaller, but 24/7 news, that may be, just who's on call that day. So the orchestration element is a big deal, not only in the tech, but also in the personnel. So I'll count that as 2. I think also, looking at the event, who's coming in the door. So whether it's a direct campaign that's trafficked in your own ad server and who's running and they bought that time, or if it's a programmatic advertiser that, maybe it's not your big tentpole event, but it's, you still want to review who's coming through the pipes. I think those would be the 3 things, that I would orchestration of tech people and the advertising coming through.